And welcome back to the Boundary Corner podcast, along with my partners Brian Siegler, Jonathan Talley, Shelton Moss. I'm Curtis Wilson, and this episode is brought to you by Dr. Jeremy Counts, down at Counts Family Pharmacy, your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, 301 South Main Street, Blacksburg, Virginia. Huge shout out to the 200 plus students that stopped by last Friday to the booth. For those who are listening, maybe you sent your kids, maybe you sent your nephews, your nieces, your cousins down there to get it. The drawing is going to be this Friday to determine the winner of the PS5.
Y'all send it Curtis's way.
Message me. I will give you my address. I will pay the FedEx or the UPS. Also, welcome tonight, as my buddy Mitch Klein said, welcome to your Hokie emotional support group, because that's what we're going to be tonight. We're going to scream. We're going to curse. We're going to say things. But y'all, Tally, Brian, y'all are in Nashville, Sheldon and Raleigh. What a shitty way to start the season.
Yeah, I mean there's really no other way to say it. There was a whole lot of preamble. There was a whole lot of damn Hokies in Nashville. The stands are pretty much 70-30 Hokies sitting in Nashville on their campus, and then an egg was laid for the better part of 3.5 hours, and the Hokies come back home with an L.
Tally, what you say?
It was so hot. It was so hot about the third quarter. It was people was passing out. It was God bless the lady I seen in a wheelchair. I think she had like a heat stroke or something. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. On the way out, like, I think we had to walk like 2 miles to get to the car after the game. It was hot in there. So I gotta start though by saying, man, much love. Thank you. Bottom of my heart. Bottom of everybody that's here, all of the, calls, all of the messages, people coming up to meet us. Thank y'all. Like, it was awesome, the support, man. I mean, again, we just 4 guys talking Virginia Tech football, but we appreciate you guys, spending time with us every week, paying attention to us talk crazy. So besides all of the stuff that happened that we didn't want to happen, like that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, coming together as a community to share this thing that we love and hate all at the same time. So I appreciate it, man. I had some great conversations, met some great families. So I'm very thankful for that. And I'll stop at that for right now while I'm being positive. Sheldon, how you feel about the game, man?
How was Raleigh, Sheldon? Were you able to actually go in public after the game?
I was, yes. I did get a couple light jeers, nothing too crazy, but yeah, I was pretty shocked. I mean, I thought they'd pulled out. I thought, especially when they went up 27-20 late in the fourth, I thought they had it in the bag, and they just kind of fell apart in defense. So, but we still had a good time. It was the birthday of my friend's girlfriend, so we had a good time, celebrated her day, and then went out to downtown Raleigh, and they had a few drinks, and I just kind of chilled around and reflected in sorrow of the devastating loss. We managed to have a good day, so it was fine.
Yeah, same here. I was down at my mom's place this weekend, hanging out with all the family. Watched the game with the boys. My boys got upset that they lost, which makes me feel good, because one of them he wanted to go do something outside, my middle, and I go outside and do it. And my older one texted, and he said, "Dad, they're driving. I think they're gonna get a touchdown." That was the 27-20. And Sheldon, like you, I thought, okay, that's it. Unfortunately, I went back in, and then what happened. But after that, we went out, watched my brother-in-law and his band play called Moonshine Sun down at a little restaurant down off a little lake down in where me and Brian grew up. Same. I didn't get jeers. I got some. Man, that was a rough one for us today, right? Like, yeah, it was, man. Like, thought we had them. So, it definitely not a great feeling. But you know what? It is what it is. It's Tell the Truth Wednesday now. We're going to go Know the Enemy. Not as deep on Know the Enemy, because we got a lot to unload on the front half tonight. Tally, that is a dope hat. Did you buy that this weekend?
No, man. I've had it for a little while. Y'all know, man, I just throw stuff away. I said, maybe I need to change it up. Listen, I thought it was me, I thought it was me. I said, every fucking game I go to, we lose. And then somebody else said, well, every game I go to, we lose. So it was actually Chris. I was having dinner with Chris Lester, shout out my guy. And he said, well, shit, every game I done went to, we've been losing. So I felt better with that. I said, well, we just losing too much. So I thought it was me. I was going to boycott Orange and going to games. And then I realized, like, nah, man, it ain't me. It's fucking them. They got to do better. They need to win. They got to start going how to do what they got to do.
Tell it.
By the way,
it was rough, man.
By the way, shout out right here. I don't know if y'all got a chance to meet him, but clearly.
Oh yeah. Me and Will had a good time a couple nights there, man.
Oh yeah, nice. Will, man. Shout out Will. Will's my guy.
Nice.
Will, I hope your wife is doing better. Well, she was doing pretty good the second time.
Hey, she rallied, man. She rallied.
She rallied and came back. She had a long night and an early morning, so she was the trooper.
All right,
but
hey, listen.
Go ahead.
Say something? Let's just be real. We're gonna throw it out here. A lot of people ain't feeling good this week. You know?
No, hell no.
Andrew says fry. Steven wants to riot. I mean, you know,
this is what it is. Let me say this.
This is an event session, right?
Yeah,
we got to get the feelings out there. We got to process, and then we got to put them in the trash can.
Yeah,
here's where we're getting them out.
This is what I need to say about everything that goes on online, on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you want to. I'm not the fan police. I hate that. I hate when people tell you how you should feel after a team wins, after a team loses, how long you should feel that way, what you should say. I'm not that person. Like, I'm like, whatever you feel,
get it
you
out.
Fucking say what you want to say, get it out. But this is what I will say. Get that shit out on your own fucking page. Like, if I put a post up, it's what I feel. Don't come on my post. And this is another thing. Everybody knows what I look like. Everybody knows my name. Everybody, and I'm not hiding. Like, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Don't be behind a fake ass username talking a whole bunch of shit to other grown men, and you won't step from behind that computer. Put a picture up of yourself and tell everybody how you feel. If you want to say fuck whoever on the team,
say it.
Do it. But make sure they know who you are. Don't hide as user 216793 and then go on people's page and put shit and go to somebody and, oh, I'm going to tag this player. Like, that's fucking goofy, man. Like, stop doing that shit. If you want to do that as a grown person, do it on your own. Like, create your page. Do it. Hey, you can still have a stupid ass name. I'm cool with that. Hulkamaniac, Hokie, whatever you want to put a real picture up and say, hey, I'll be here. Like, I was not hiding on Broad Street. I promise you. There was only 4 fucking black people there. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knew who I was. But the thing is, like, I'm cool with how everybody feels. It just, like, really irks me when somebody goes on somebody else's post and they're hiding behind. Like, you can tell they just started their account because they only got like 2 followers. You know what I'm saying? And then they're, oh, let's add Parker Clemens on here. Like, stop doing that shit, man. If you want to do that, show him who you is. Because when I say fucking get 70 off the field, he know who I am. Like, he can feel how he want to feel about it. But you got to quit sacking the quarterback. You on offense. Stop fucking sacking our quarterback. So I'm going to calm down. I know we got a lot to unload.
We do. We got to tell the truth. But I'm going to say something. So I put these up here, and we said a couple things. Me, Brian, and Tally were of this: don't sleepwalk. Show up and play. Don't play down. Shelton, you were looking for linebacker and safety play. And the first half, we were sleepwalking. We were playing down.
Oh, yeah.
We did not show up in the first half. And to Shelton's point, I know Shelton is probably even more worried about linebacker and safety play now after that game. So that were our keys. Those were our keys to say.
I know he got some hellacious stats.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
I know he got some.
Good.
I ain't got no stats. I got these eyes, and I ain't even got my glasses on. I'm going to tell you what I see.
All right. So we're going to do it. It is time to tell the truth Wednesday. And as y'all all know it, we start with what went bad. And we're going to kick it to Shelton because Shelton, throw us that ugly tackling stat that you've been researching and tell us how many and who are our main contributors to it.
Well, I checked PFF after the game and it tallied up in the numbers. So Tech as a team had 13 missed tackles. I'd say average is probably around 20% missed tackle rate. They're definitely above that for sure. I don't know the exact percentage. But another stat to that point, Vanderbilt had 137 rushing yards after contact. So that's essentially 137 yards that they are getting that they, theoretically shouldn't be getting. Obviously, you're not going to, tackle everyone, but that's still pretty rough. I think that was 40 more than Tech had.
Oh my
So
God.
in terms of the big culprits, Mose Phillips had three. I think he had two really bad ones in particular. The one where he got hurtled over, put his head down. He did that multiple times during the game. Just not keeping his head up, not having good awareness. Those two were big. And then also Keontae Jenkins had three, Burgos had two, Keller had a couple, and Panay had a couple. So, I mean, you tallied up. I mean, there was kind of miscues all over the board. And again, missed tackles are going to happen sometimes, but just the degree and I think the situational, the effect that they had in terms of allowing Vanderbilt to generate those big plays was just backbreaking.
All right, Tally Brian, y'all saw it in person. Go ahead, Tally.
I'm scared. I don't even know what to say. Like you can't even count some of them as missed tackles. Like that's just the missed tackles. Some of them we couldn't fucking get to nobody. Like the angles was bad, the fits was bad. So 13 should have been 30. We chasing people. We chasing the wrong people. It was Chris Marv. Hey man, you got to do something.
Yeah. It looked like a team that didn't prepare to play against a triple option team, which, I mean, if you didn't know what was coming, I mean, we saw Jerry Kill. We seen what they were doing in New Mexico State. We know you're going to get a heavy dose of quarterback run. You're going to get a heavy dose of that pitch game. And they brought it right at us, and we had no answer for Pavia outside of the tackles. If he broke contain, I mean, he was just doing whatever he wanted to. And it was that death by 1,000 cuts that you hate to watch. Like, I'll take a big play here or there, regroup, go back, get a stop, force a field goal. It was just 8 yards, 12 yards, 6 yards, 5. Like, it took until almost like that second half before we really had a stack of plays that you felt good about, where you're like, okay, well, we got them off the field. And even then, a couple times it's like, okay, well, we got bailed out by a drop, or we got bailed out by this. Like, they bailed us out a couple times. They gave us essentially 3 points. We took it back, unfortunately, with that 0-0 penalty.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
But they made mistakes too, and we capitalized almost zero on their mistakes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they did a very good job of capitalizing on the things that we were doing poorly.
Brian, and you know what was much more concerning to me, more than like losing, like fucking. First of all, I'm gonna get to my point, but I gotta say this: stop giving me hope. Like, if we get beat 30-0, then I'm just gonna accept the 30-0. Stop giving me hope like we gonna win, and then we fucking go and lose. Like, that shit burns me up. But what was concerning to me was, like, we have these players that we know what they are, right? Like, you want somebody to take a step forward, and then they get on the field and they don't take that step forward. Like, try somebody else. Like, why didn't we see McDonald?
Well, why don't we see me? Well, the whole thing is, and this is, I'm gonna kind of jump in here for just a second, because the concern was last year. This is the way it started last year. Exactly what we saw Saturday was exactly what we saw some of the early games last year. And then over time, starting about Pitt, it got a little better. We may take a step back, but then we take a step forward. The issue I'm having, the first thing I ask is, how much after the Pitt game was Brent Pry in the linebacker room? That's my first question, because something changed, because it got better at the end of the season. Not perfect, not monumental steps, but enough of a step where we felt this season, all right, we're not starting back at square one this year. We're better. We're better at filling gaps. We're better at understanding. We look like the exact same team again, and that should not happen. That should not happen. Slight regression, fine. This is full regression back to the beginning of 2023. That's the issue. And Shelton, as far as you go, it was 20%. They ran 64 plays. So 1364, that's 20% of their plays we missed a tackle. And they only had 181 rushing, y'all. 181 rushing, and Sheldon 130. Therefore, pretty much 75% of their yards were after contact, which is crappy. It tells you the tackling was piss poor. Whole thing. All the way up there. And, that's my concern. And that's my concern now with Chris Marv is that room the unit itself took a monumental step back. Can you get them at least to where we were like middle point last year? Not at the end of last year when they were playing what I feel like was solid football. Not Hall of DB football, but just solid linebacker play. Can we get back there quickly? Or is it going to take 3, 4, 5 games to get there? Because we ain't got time this year to do that shit.
We do not. We do not have time to do it this year because
my heart can't take it.
But also, I mean, think about we got a window here, right? Like we got a window. The ACC's down. We got a pretty middling
schedule
out of conference schedule. All things considered, obviously Vanderbilt showed us that doesn't really mean shit.
No,
but there's an opportunity here. We need to get our head out of our ass a little bit and do the things that this team does well. I feel like so much of that game we thought that we could do what we do and it would be good enough instead of focusing on what they do poorly and exploiting that and trying to hide the things that we do poorly. We did not do a very good job of that. Early on, we got pushed around up front. We saw it early. We weren't able to establish anything on the run. We weren't stretching the defense so the things underneath could open up. And all of a sudden, you have one tip ball that results in interception and you're down 2 scores, end up going down 3 scores before you finally get things going. And then on defense, it was just so slow to adjust to what they were doing. And when the adjustments finally came, it was more to stop the bleeding instead of taking it to them and kind of dictating to the offense. I don't ever felt like any point of that game we were dictating to the offense.
No.
We were basically saying we're going to play it safe and make sure that they don't get this first down. But at no point did it feel like we were taking it to them.
All righty. Sheldon, I'm going to let you flip on this one next because Shelton's got the grades. And I do want to talk, obviously, about the poor grades, but a couple guys did have okay grades. So let's run through some of the linebacker and safeties grades there and then what these guys – what y'all saw, because y'all were there in person. I'm watching on TV. Sheldon's watching on TV, but sometimes things look different in person. So Sheldon, give us some linebacker and safety grades for this game.
Yeah, so let's start off with the linebackers. So obviously, the big guy I was looking for was Sam Bromfield, came in from MTSU transfer.
Yep. Sheldon, we lost you for a second there.
But from
he
average,
got the internet I got.
Oh. Yeah. You're back?
Yep, you're back now.
Back?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Have some internet issues. But yeah, so talking about Brumfield, like I said, from what I could tell, he struggled to get off blocks. He graded out as a 59, which is, pretty average. Jenkins was also average at a 60. Like I said, 3 missed tackles. Keller started the game, but only played 29 snaps. I thought he made some poor reads. And then Kelly Lawson did not grade out very well. He was around 53. And there was one play, I think that second touchdown run by Vanderbilt. He just got bullied, just pile driven backwards 10 yards and knocked into Most Phillips, who was trying to make the tackle on that second touchdown run. So kind of just got outworked there. We did not see much at all of Jaden McDonald. I think he played 1 snap. I'm not exactly sure why, but it happened. So and then talk about some of the safeties and just DBs in general. Caleb Woodson, pretty solid, 71 grade. That was a good spot. Jalen Jones was also solid at 63.
That's good.
And then obviously Most Phillips, which we can talk about. Upcoming did not grade out well. He was a 53. Like I said, missed a couple big tackles. Had some missed assignments that led to some big pass plays, and then also in there, Monsour Delane, probably the worst game of his career, honestly. Graded out as 44. Missed a few jams at the line of scrimmage. And gave the big touchdown pass that they had. Yeah, I thought he kind of played with slow feet and just wasn't very active. So lots of a couple good, but lots of bad from those linebackers and DBs.
Yeah, and the biggest is you're saying there, the only person who played two guys close to average was Brumfield and Jenkins, and it was literally right at average. Jenkins missing 3 tackles, huge probably in why he got an average grade, which is, okay. But the whole thing is you can't have if the entire group plays average, it's probably okay. But you can't have 2 average guys and then basically everybody else whiffing. And I don't know what else to say on that, because for the linebacker, it's keys, it's reads, it's where you're supposed to go. And I don't know how much it takes into account when it comes to, what we saw, and y'all were already mentioning it a couple times already today, which is guys not going to the right spots, guys hesitating. The couple times that I saw on some of those runs, Brian, Tally, I know y'all probably saw it. You saw linebacker, you saw them take that false step inside, and the next thing you know, it was a damn sweep. And it's just like, and I'm sure y'all sitting there with y'all's football background saying, no, that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is on the outside shoulder of the tackle. That's where you're supposed to be waiting, not sticking your head inside, because it seemed like every time somebody stuck their head inside, especially the linebackers, it was outside and it was big gains or solid gains.
Yeah, so I mean, from what I've seen, and I've watched a little bit since I've been home, but not much. But just from being there and watching, it's different when you're there, of course. You don't get to see as much as you can on TV, but I can tell you, I seen number 20 on the defense was probably the best linebacker that we had. I didn't know any stats. Woodson he has instincts that some other people don't. And another thing, I get it. You have to play with who you have. But I feel that some of our linebackers they're safeties. They're not linebackers. Like, we're not coming down here hitting people. We chasing plays. Kelly Lawson is an athletic freak, but he's not a linebacker. The more and more it goes on, I mean, he can chase a tackle down, but he can't stop a run. If you go look at teams like LSU that lost, or Texas A&M, they linebackers are going to come downhill and they're going to hit you. Our linebackers aren't doing that. And I don't know if it's the scheme they got them in, where they're flowing too much side to side more than being responsible for a gap, but I'm all for saying, if somebody's not getting the job done, put somebody else in. I ain't saying bench them, but you got to see what you got. You have too much talent on the team to continue trotting people out who aren't getting the job done.
Yeah, I'm with that. And I think the big thing I didn't like was with the linebacker play, and this kind of goes back to Marv too, is the adjustments and just how they were working with the leverage in that triple option. They were constantly overrunning. They were giving Pavi up the lanes he needed to create there. I did like the fact that the adjustment wasn't to just run at Pavia with the option man, get the ball out of his hands, live and die, get some predictable outcomes where okay, we're getting the ball into a running back's hand, and then let's see what happens. Let's see if we can make a tackle out there on the running back.
Well, Brian,
but Pavia was out there killing us, and when he wasn't killing us, he was able to make a pretty easy pitch, and their running back was able to get 5 or 6 yards, 8 or 9 yards, and keep the sticks moving.
But I'm going to make a point. Brian, me and you talked yesterday about 30 minutes, and it was an anger session. Brian, you said you absolutely hated what our game plan for how we attacked this offense. You basically said to me, whoever is on Pavia, go. I don't give a damn. Go hit him every freaking time. Hit him. They are running option. He is a runner. He is not a passer. And we did the exact opposite of that. We sat back on our heels.
We were doing the classic, option man. You're going to slow play it. See what the quarterback does, make the quarterback make the decision, and then commit. But the problem is that we were kind of out on the island and no one was committing, and we were getting out leveraged. And when you're out leveraged by the quarterback's able to cut up inside. He's able to get to the spill area. We weren't doing a good job with our fills from the safety position. It was just kind of all over the map as far as bad play against a triple option scheme with a quarterback that's capable of hurting you with his legs.
All right, real quick, I want to throw this up here because this is one of our well-known listeners. And Shelton, I don't know if you have this right away, but what were our end grades against the run game for this week? Thanks, Yost, for putting that up there.
I met Yost this weekend too.
Yeah, I got it. So, APR was a little bit above average.
Okay.
Nelson was kind of right around average, and then CJ McCray, he got 22 snaps, a little below average. So kind of a mixed bag. I mean, I know Price said he wasn't dissatisfied with the performance of the defensive line. I think he was more so concerned about kind of the perimeter players.
100% there. Also, shout out Uncle Dwight. Like we all said, kind of, we felt like we'd already accomplished something. We ain't accomplished shit yet. Luckily, it's game one. All right, so you already mentioned his name. But Shelton, Monsour Delane graded a 44, worst in his career. And y'all, the stat line won't pretty. Shelton pulled it up. Shelton found it. Let's talk about Monsour and what went on with him. So, Sheldon, the floor is yours again.
Yeah, well, it was rough. I mean, you kind of had high expectations for him coming to the season just because of the body of work he had, and you figure it's year 3. He came in good as a freshman, good as a sophomore last year, and he just put up a dud. So he was 5 for 7 when targeted, 102 yards, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, and gave up a touchdown as well. And no pass breakups either. So they went to him hard. Dorian Strong was not targeted the entire game. I honestly don't think Vanderbilt really cared to target him at all, especially with the success they're having obviously in the run game, but also on that side of the field too. I just thought he missed a couple of jams at line of scrimmage, which led to some big pass plays. I thought his eyes were looking at the quarterback a couple of those times, so he wasn't getting. I think the release that he should have been getting. Kind of, I think that tells me that he's kind of playing for the stats almost. Maybe trying to go for the INT rather than just sticking to his technique. But I thought he was slow and kind of flat-footed. There was one post route over the middle where he just got his feet tripped up. The Vanderbilt wide receiver made a pretty hard cut over the middle of the field, and he just could not keep up. And part of that was misassignments by the safeties, but you got to be better. I mean, when you have expectations for a guy like that, you got to be better, and they had so much success going after him.
Tally, Brian, y'all were there, y'all saw it.
Yeah, he was playing on banana peels.
Yeah,
shit, he looked like he was playing Mario Kart. I don't know, man. I don't know if he hurt. I can say this: I've seen him play. It's not like he's a freshman. This is his first time getting in. We've seen him play, so we know he can play. But that wasn't him. What was happening then in that game was not what I'm used to seeing. You're going to get beat sometime, but you can't get beat every time. He got beat every time. Even on the ones that they I think Sheldon just said he was 5 for 7. They fucking dropped them too. Seriously, go look at it.
At least one of them. I know they dropped one of them.
They dropped one of them.
They actually did.
They
dropped both of them.
His ass. I'm telling you,
7 for 7 then.
Man,
I don't know if he was thinking too much about run support because of the way they were gaseous to the run game or what, but he did not play like himself at all.
He wasn't thinking about no run support. He was getting that ass toe up in the first quarter. If you go look at it, and again, I don't play cornerback. You gotta go talk to Dion about that. But I can say this dude was chopping his feet like he was Ocho Cinco on the line and getting loose on him when he made the dive and catch where he had him beat by 2 steps. If it had been a better throw, that would have been a touchdown. Kids, and no disrespect to Vanderbilt's players, they made some great plays, but again, we've seen Monsour play. And we know that he can make plays, but either they had his number or something wasn't right about him. It could have been overhyped. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of stuff to go into it. When you start getting paid, it's a job. And hell, I know I'm in sales. I have bad days at work all the time, and my boss calls me what the fuck are you doing today? This is the goal, and this is where you're at. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I was thinking about my kid. My kid got a game tonight. I got to get my mind right. I'm sorry. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll be better. Only thing about this is this was a game day, and this was the first game of the season. So it was a horrible time for him to have an off night. You know what I'm saying?
And not on ESPN, not on ACC Network, not on the U. Right. It was on ESPN. It was their one game.
The whole world's watching. So, I hope that, he can come back and have his redemption tour because he can ball, man. I mean, everybody's been
Yeah,
everybody's been talking crazy to him and stuff like that. That's just what football is. But
Well,
I
Sean,
just
you
hope he
said it.
comes back. I hope he comes back and fucking have 3 picks this week or something.
Well,
He
Sean, you
got to do
said it.
something though.
Well, Sean,
Sorry,
you said
Greg.
it straight up. Worst of his career. And the kid's played with 13 last year. He played like 11. He's played 24 games and he'd never
Yeah.
had that bad of a game. And he'd always played good. Brian, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it was just weird to see that type of performance out of Monsour. Like Tally said, I don't know if something's going on, just too much hype, whatever it was. It was not the game that you wanted to see him put out there, especially considering what we've been talking about heading into this season, right? Like, we had Grayson on here. We were talking about, like, if Mansour takes another step this year, could this be one of those duos that we talk about in terms of cornerbacks?
Yep.
Looking back to the 2000s, and if we see that every week, hell fucking no. It's not going to be a conversation. And that's disappointing because of how they were successfully running the football. We really needed to get some plus plays out there when they decided to throw it.
And then on top of that, he dropped a pick.
He did.
We might have not talked about the game. Like, we might not talk about how bad the game was if we get this pick. At least you get a pick. You know what I'm saying?
We might have been talking about it, but we were like, he did not play good, but damn, did you see that pick? He went up,
we needed
the ball,
pick.
got it, brought it down, but we don't get to say that. What I'll say is this. Sheldon, you said 102. They only had 190 yards passing.
Yeah.
So he was 60+% of that. Again, that's something we talking about not being prepared for something, him being that bad, because Dorian Strong held up his end. I don't know his grade, Sheldon, if that's in front of you there. They didn't even look his way. They were like the 44 Magnum. That's what we're going to start calling him. Now, don't go that way. Why? Because he'll shoot you and you're going to be dead.
Well, we need to give Monsour 47 so he can be an AK or something. So we gotta get him out of that 4 right now, man. Shit.
Forget the foe.
They was tearing that 4 up. So
how good was Dorian for real? Because it seems like,
I mean, it's hard to say.
Overall, he was pretty.
I'll go ahead, Sheldon.
Yeah, overall he was pretty average. It was just a big imbalance between the pass coverage and the run defense. PFF did not like his run defense. They had it as a 38. So coverage wise he was good, but they didn't like the run defense.
Awesome. All righty. So we got the defense out of the way, or most of it out of the way. It only took 30 minutes. Let's go to the special teams blunder, because that was just an absolute F up. So it's a 54-yard field goal, and we still got to question this. 54-yard field goal. They get a delay of game. He shanks it left. They get delay of game. We accept. Which can you decline a delay of game? Because we should have. And like, no, we don't want that. That ball was kicked. Then the punt happens. And it's an okay punt. We get it about the 8. Oh, this is cool. They thought, well, there's a penalty on the field. And I don't know the exact call. I just know they got a chance to kick it. It was from 53 yards this time, not 54. And then they drilled it. In your life, have y'all ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
I have never seen 2 numbers on the field at the same time. Now, to Coach Price's credit, he immediately owned it and said, that's on me. I'm the head coach. He was not going to get Stu Holt bust because, well, by all means, Stu, that's your unit. You should have taken the bullet. But have y'all ever seen anything like that happen?
Mm-mm.
I've never seen it happen. And, when we talk about this stuff, we're talking about in the last, 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 years, that the prominence of single digits on offense and defense has really risen, especially when you start getting into guys that aren't skill players. So usually, even if you run out a guy there that is a skill position player on offense that now is punt returning, right? Usually the chances of that overlap is pretty small because you're only talking about 3 to 4 players potentially with those single digits. Now with D-line, linebackers, all these guys with single digits. It's definitely something that you've got to keep an eye on. And then you've got another situation where, again, the guy that's out there now is Jennings in the 0, and the guy that matched up with him didn't even wear that number last year. He was 21 last year. He was a 0. So, it's one of those things where if that situation had to have been practiced at some point, where they said, okay, well, we've got our second return man in here, and we've got a guy that's number 2 on the depth chart at linebacker in the game at the same time on the punt return team. That had to be seen at some point and said, hey, this might cause some problems. So I'm not sure how we're not prepared for that.
We was doomed from the beginning because Tucker's not playing. I mean, if Tucker would have been there, he would have been out there. So, when you start looking at Virginia Tech shit, you like, hey man, is that school on some kind of like Native American burial ground or something? Like, if it's gonna happen, it's fucking happening to us. You know what I'm saying? If it's an injury, if somebody's going pro early, it's fucking happening to us. I don't know, man. Y'all better start praying. Like, I grew up holiness. Anoint them buildings and helmets and stuff. Go get you a bottle of oil from the stove. I don't know if y'all ever been to a holiness church. Go get you a bottle of oil, pray over it, take it to the chaplain, let him do his thing, start anointing everybody's head and the helmets, and go through the rooms and start praying.
We're gonna start coming in with the incense and the
we got to exercise some demons, man. I've never seen somebody try to kick a 54-yard field goal, miss it. You can't. I think it's a dead ball foul, so
it is.
You can't, like, no, we don't want it. And then they punt it, and then they throw a flag, and then they kick it, and I never seen it happen to no team but Virginia Tech.
Y'all know my theory. I ain't saying it aloud though. Y'all know my theory. I've texted y'all numerous times about it.
Yeah, what's your theory, Curtis?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Don't speak on it. I might get drunk and stay at the program and say it. Sheldon, go ahead, man.
Yeah, it happens once in a blue moon. I mean, I remember the season opener last year between Florida and Utah. There was Florida had that same penalty, and Utah ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. So it happens every so often. But look, I mean, the way it is, we've got all these support staffers, all these analytics guys in the field in the press box. For that to happen with the amount of eyeballs you have on it, just inexcusable. Quite honestly.
Man, let me out there. I would have seen that. If y'all get me on that sideline, I promise you, I'm gonna check it out.
Listen, if y'all did not see what Dwight Vick said, did y'all see what Dwight said? Tweet during the game. There should be no duplicate numbers. You earn your one number. There should never be two numbers. I want the Dwight Vick rule in effect now. No duplicate numbers. Well, what if I'm a walk-on? Then you don't get a number until you earn it. You got to be one of the 100.
If you ain't in the 2 deep,
you don't get one.
Or on special if you're not in the 2 deep on the special teams, you don't get a number.
Y'all hear me out there? What's his name? What's the Shelton, the long time equipment guy? Why is his name escaping me? Y'all, he's been there for like 45 years.
We don't know who you talking about.
I forget.
Y'all know. Well, they always do a story on him. It's great. He's he seems like the nicest guy in the world. All right, let's move on. Because the offense ain't getting away with this shit, even though they put up some points in a second. Lester, there we go. Thank you, William. Lester, everybody gets one number. You hear me? Everybody gets one number. By the way, I do agree with this. It was not the Liberty shit from 2020, but it won't great. And we got Lester Carlin. We still running duplicate numbers, Chris. All right, let's go to the offensive side of the ball, because in my life, well, I've seen it in my lifetime, but with this team, the Jekyll and Hyde, the bipolar offense. First half, Shelton, did you get to write it down? How many yards we had in the first half?
I don't have the yards show. Well, right. I forgot that. I think it was like 86 or something.
It was 86. He told me this yesterday. 86 yards. Do y'all know how many we had in the second half? And we didn't look great in the second half at times.
A lot more than that.
311.
Yeah.
311. Sean, we talked about it yesterday. It's okay, man. Just somebody say something, because that
yeah, Brian, you look like you got something. I was about to go. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Man,
Freaking offense.
so it's the bipolar of the offense, but it's also the and I'll give Tyler Bowen a little credit here before we move on. He got to his adjustment earlier than Marv did, but
too fucking late.
Way too late. Way too late. The last drive and a half of the first half is not when you want to say, okay, well, they're taking away this, so we need to switch it up. We need to actually move the ball downfield. I get that we had a decent running game last year. I get that we have one of the best running backs in the ACC in our backfield. I get those things, but also we've got 4 wide receivers that could probably start on just about any team in the ACC, and we need to feed those guys. And we need to feed those guys more than 10 yards down the field.
Yeah, you had one of them that made his living on the going deep. He's 6'5". We didn't throw no fades. We didn't throw him no 50-50 deep balls. I don't know, man.
Was it 2 catches, 9 yards? Like,
yeah, you say we got one of the best running backs in the ACC. We gave him 9 carries. He had 9 carries. Our quarterback had 16 for 19 yards. You can't win like that.
Daquan 2 for 13.
13, sorry.
And Shelton, because we already here and Tally announced it, can you announce how many games we've won when Bashal Tuden doesn't carry the ball more than 12 times?
It was like 1 or 0? 0. Yep. 0. That's what I figured.
We have not won a game when he does not carry the ball more than 12 times. He carried it 9.
And the problem is most of those 9 were in the early part of the game where we were ineffectually running against the stacked box because we were throwing 5-yard outs to the tight end and a couple hitches and a couple ends inside of 10 yards. We were not getting those safeties back. They were able to just come up, tee off on us. The linebackers were going downhill the whole time. I mean, we did nothing to make them have to think a little bit about where they needed to be early in that game. And then you get the bad luck of a tip screen pass that ends up getting interception. It puts you even further behind your schedule as an offense. It was just a combination of bad luck and just bad scheme, a whole lot of that first half that got us really in a position where, you know, we were playing from behind against a team that we, you know, if you go out there and you just execute okay, if you have a decent scheme in the first half and you go out there and, you know, you keep it a 1-score game or a 3-point game heading into halftime, you're in a much better position. But we did not even do that against, honestly, I still consider a very mid Vanderbilt team, even with Diego Pavia in the backfield.
No, I agree, man. It's just too long to adjust. I really think from looking at the game, I thought we walked in with our new uniforms on and all of the hype and all of that stuff and thought, oh, we just a better team. We just going to run over them. We're just going to run it down our throats. And it didn't happen. And I feel like our coaches were stubborn. I feel like they said, we're going to make this work. This is going to work. And it fucking did not work. And when they finally realized that it wasn't working and they switched it up, they realized that they can get some offense going. I think we ended up having more yards than them on offense. If not, we were really close. And it was like, yeah, you would have never thought that 86 yards in the first half. I mean, and I think Kyron was 22 for 33, 322. He didn't have a good game. And y'all know that's my family. That's my guy. Kyron did not have a great game. And if, like, I had people saying, man, it looks like your quarterback did good, like 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It's not a bad game. Easily could have went over 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were wasting plays by running him. He gets cramps, and I'm gonna I think Sheldon's got something to say. He's gonna give us some actual statistics. Your quarterback gets cramps. He's got most everybody who plays sports knows when you get cramps, it's usually in your legs. You roll up, you lay on your back and you pick your leg up and you see him, all that stretching this, they pushing the toe back. Oh, he's got cramps. He was cramping so bad, he was laying on his face. So I don't even know what part of his body was all cramping. I just know he was cramping. probably both legs. He was laying down, face mask in the ground. What do our coaches do? We put our backup in. He runs for 15 yards. You put your starting quarterback back in, say, oh, he deserves to go back in. He's earned that right. And you call a fucking running play for somebody who got a full body cramp in 132-degree weather. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Oh, man.
Sheldon, help me
you,
out, man.
You do got some stuff on drones because drones was one of the what went wells. Give us a little bit on him.
Yeah, so I got a few thoughts on offense. So first off, I listened to Brett Pryde's press conference this week, and he kind of laid out a little bit of the details of the game plan that they were trying to do. So, a lot of people criticize the horizontal passing. I think they wanted to kind of get the ball out to the perimeter and kind of have their wide receivers block rather than the O-line, get their guys out in space, which, to be fair, worked a lot last year. It seemed like Kyren, yes, there were some design screen calls, but he was also checking down a lot, and Pry felt like some of those check downs were the correct decision. I think sometimes he might have gotten spooked a little bit as well. You look at some of the passing splits for Kyren. 33 passes, 12 were short, so that's 0 to 9 yards. 10 more were behind the line of scrimmage for a total of 2/3 of his passing attempts within that 0 to 9 yard range or behind the line of scrimmage. So very safe and conservative. Again, I understand the thinking there. To what Brian was saying, it seemed to me like Vanderbilt's defensive front seven had a really good beat on the plays Tech was running. There were some times where the blocking was bad for the wide receivers, the tight ends. Sometimes they didn't have the right angle because the Vanderbilt linebackers would just get, they got out leveraged, because they could see, what play was coming. I personally think that Vanderbilt did a good job of checking into the right play. And again, obviously, we don't know exactly what the pre-snap calls are, but it just seemed like Vanderbilt kind of knew it was coming, and so they saw whatever Tech had lined up. They checked out of it, checked into the right play, and then they had success. So I don't know. I think Bowen, like you said, took a long time to adjust. I think he kind of played into their game plan a little bit, which obviously didn't help. But to talk about drones a little bit more, they actually graded him really well, 82 grade by PFF. Now, let's not take PFF as gospel. I mean, it's objective grades too, but I can kind of understand thinking of he made some good plays for the most part. He was pretty careful with the ball, had a couple bad throws, but so does everyone. And he got pressured 10 times too, which is not great. So I think he might have gotten a little bit spooked, and I'm sure that probably played a factor as well. Like I said, with the injury too, and the weather being a factor there. So all in all, I mean, I think it was a great game plan by Vanderbilt, and I think it just took Tech a little bit too long to adjust because you could tell their defense just had everything to a T.
Oh yeah, 100% on that. Now the other thing that I'll say, in my opinion, is the following. So I get this right here. The horizontal game. I think what y'all have said is perfect. I think they knew it was coming pretty quick. So with that being said, why didn't we get it off of it quicker? Because they were eating it up. It wasn't like we were making big breaks. Again, it's 86 yards in the first half. It's not 115, 120, 130 where you say, okay, we drove the ball multiple times on them doing this. That's my bigger issue, is that at no point in time did it work. At no point. We had to go for fourth down on our side of the field to get a first down on one of the first drives, and then we went 3 plays later. So that is my bigger concern, and it's a concern going forward because with Tyler Bowen, same way. It took him a lot longer last year to adjust into the right schemes, with the exception of the Marshall game. I think a couple of y'all pointed it out there where we were in the right scheme and we went back to the wrong scheme. So the question is, can they get back to where we were at least middle point last year on both sides of the ball quick? That's my big concern. Sheldon, let me pitch to you next. Back to you for a second, because obviously we all are always watching the offensive line. This is an offensive lineman podcast. If y'all don't know, the Michael Yost, who is constantly in there tonight, Michael Yost, longtime listener, played offensive line. Brian's an offensive lineman. Tally played on the line. So let's hear those grades, top to bottom. Who was the best? Who was the worst?
Yeah. So looking at the PFF grades from from this past week I'm pulling up right now. So best lineman graded out was Chaplin, Xavier Chaplin, left tackle at 67, which is, pretty solid. He was really good in pass protection, and so was Braylon Moore as well, also around a 67. And then you had some kind of in the middle. Leif Gannon struggled in pass protection, and then at the bottom was obviously Parker Clemens for the link. 55 overall and 57 in pass blocking. I think he gave up 3 pressures and obviously at least 1 sack that I could count. So, kind of
he got that himself.
Yeah, exactly. So, kind of to what you were saying, Curtis, about the lack of vertical passing, I think it was twofold. Just to play devil's advocate here, I think, first of all, in order to have downfield passing plays, it requires O-line to block for a longer period of time. And, also Drones last year wasn't great in terms of downfield passing. So that probably played into a little bit. I just think the O-line, it's always kind of risky, asking guys to drop back and, dissect the pocket for more than 2.5, 3 seconds. I think that was kind of probably explains some of their play going decisions, but yeah, not great overall for the offensive line, especially in pass blocking.
Yeah, and I mean, we ended up taking some shots in the second half, and most of those are kind of schemed up to get guys running free, where Kyron could easily step up, make a throw in anticipation versus having to wait for somebody to come open late in a route. So kudos to Bowen for getting those calls in there, because it definitely confused what the defense was trying to do there. When you have a guy running free like that, that you've done something from a scheme perspective to cause somebody to bust coverage or get a little confused out there. So those are some of the high points of the offense, was seeing some of those deep ball schemes get added in there. But outside of that, looking at the offensive line, in seeing Xavier Chaplin grade out that well, despite having, a couple holding calls in there. I mean, that's something encouraging that you can take away from this game, knowing that, he's rounding into a very solid left tackle over there on that side of the line of scrimmage. But we're still having this conversation, 3 years later, about Parker Clements at right tackle. And at some point, you got to get to a point where you don't keep rolling the same thing out there and expecting different results. And he's a guy that he'll occasionally throw a good game out there, but he has consistently given up key sacks in games where, you can't afford to give up those sacks in those key situations. So I'm just trying to figure out, I get, in practice, he might look the best, whatever. At some point, you got to try something different and see what works, see what gels, see if you get some better outcomes. Because at this point, if he's going to, as a super senior out there, giving up plays like that, I want to see what the young guys can do.
Yeah. Tally?
I agree. I mean, if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, that's the definition of. Like,
crazy. It
is what it is, right? I'm not the coach. I don't know what they see in practice. I don't know, but I know what I see in the game.
Yep.
I know if we keep going out under the lights and we don't produce, we got to do something different. So, Cunningham, my boy,
come on,
Montete, I need you to get your shit together, man.
Well,
that's all I'm gonna say. I need you to get it together.
And this is where, like, this week we need to get up big, right? Because what if it is that game film? Because we've all mentioned it, that there are some guys that we've heard they're not good in practice, and then they go on the field and just like, oh my God, like, this guy can't be stopped. He's great. He doesn't do everything perfect, but man, he's so much better in live when the rounds are live. So that's why it's like, can we get up 3-4 scores this week where maybe someone can go in at right tackle for a little while? And if they play significantly better, it's like, that's a gamer.
Yeah.
That's a gamer. Like, I don't care what he does in practice. You put him on the field, he's going to be 10 times better than the guy that does great in practice. Because if everybody's seen Band of Brothers. Yeah. I know Brian has. You ever seen Band of Brothers?
I ain't never seen that.
David Schwimmer's character, right? David Schwimmer's character. He is like, as far as it doing the shit on base and everything, perfect. He's the man. He gets in the shit, he loses it. And I think that's the way a few of our players are. They're great in practice. They get in the shit, they lose it. So,
well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this too, and I'm I'm trying to give him a break, but I gotta say it. Parker got hit with the same spin move in practice as he did in the game.
He did.
He can't handle swim. He cannot dance. You gotta get. He keeps getting hit with spin moves. If he get hit, if I was going against him, and I've seen his body of work, I'm hitting spin moves. Spin a Rooney
Every time,
because it throws him in. I don't know, man. He ends up in the upside down every time he get hit with a spin move. So somebody else got to step up. That's what I say.
100%. So, Sheldon, anybody else that for the overall piece, anybody else on the offensive side of the ball or defensive that just stood out to you as just not having a good day?
Yeah, well, at least one that I know of, Benji Snell, and he really graded poorly in pass blocking at 36. I mean, that's pretty rough. And then, I know Aiden Green struggled a little bit at wide receiver too, but he's kind of coming along. So I certainly expected more of Gaznell. I mean, he had that big drop as well. I know he caught a couple balls, but that very critical drop on one of those drives, and you got to be able to block, plain and simple. I mean, he got out leveraged a couple times, and that contributed to a couple blown up screen passes. So I don't know. I mean, there's long season left, lots to improve on, but that was pretty disappointing for me to see the poor blocking by the tight ends.
All right, let's move on, and we've already hit some of this. So I'm just gonna say this: what we were not prepared for. I was not prepared for the attack, and I know it wasn't exactly what they did in New Mexico State. They looked crisp though. Vanderbilt's offense looked like it was game 5, not game 1. Like seriously, like they look crisp. And I know, Sheldon, you got some data on that, but again, watching it on TV, y'all watching it, it's like, man, they got this thing down. Like they know what they're doing. And that irritates you because when you sit here and you feel we probably have better players throughout teams, why are they looking so crisp? Which that goes back to coaching. That goes back to the camps to say, what are we not doing right leading up to the beginning of the season?
Yeah,
that's
also,
interesting.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say that the interesting point is that, you say the Christmas and they were crisp, but we still had 2 botched exchanges on their end that the ball hit the turf and we just didn't get on it. So they still gave us some opportunity despite looking, that more, game 3, game 4 level of Christmas compared to game 1. And we definitely came out like it was game 1.
Go ahead, Sheldon.
Yeah, 50% success rate for Vanderbilt, which is that's like 88th percentile. I mean, that's really good for them. So, I mean, like Brian said, death by 1,000 cuts. They didn't have a ton of explosive plays, but they kept the chains moving. They stayed on schedule, and I don't know, they just wore the defense down. I think their time possession was 34 minutes. So especially on a hot day like that, like it's not ideal.
Big time.
Anything on this one, Tally?
No, man. I mean, kind of exactly how Sheldon ended it, man. Wore the defense down. All of the time of possession was crazy. The first half was super crazy time of possession, and it's hot out, man. Like it was stifling. So I'm just glad that we did get some people hurt. We do got some people that's injured, and that's never good. But it seemed like it was going to be a lot more just because of the heat and how we were playing.
100%. Before I do what we can move better getting forward, I just want to know like what we went well. I love seeing my big one on what went well. I love seeing Ali Jennings catch that touchdown, especially what happened at the Purdue game. Now, what I'm sad about is he probably didn't get the ball enough, but to me that went great. Anything else? Sheldon, you kind of already hit, Kyron having a great, per PFF grades having a good game. Tally, you said it won a good game, but I mean, if not for him, we probably don't storm back.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I say. I guess what went well was him bouncing back. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Robbie said it earlier. As bad as you hate to lose, like the rear view is small for a reason. The rearview mirror is small for a reason. You want to be able to look forward, and what he did coming back into the game and coming back into the second half. I think I was sitting by one of our good friends, Greg, and he was like, I need Kyron to be the first one out of the tunnel coming out of halftime, because 17-3, it looked miserable. You know what I'm saying? We thought we was gonna get routed. So he was like, I need to see him be the first one out. And he's got to lead this team to do some stuff. And he did. Like, he showed that he has those qualities. So that was at least good to see. And when I say he didn't have a good game, because we've seen him play, we've seen his skill set. We know what he has, and going 16 rushes for 19 yards, he's better than that. So that's what I mean by that. But I'm saying it was great to see him bounce back from the first half to the second half, whether it's scheming, different plays being schemed in, making the right reads. Like that was something that went well, was his bounce back.
Yeah, and I think, as Sheldon pointed out, Benji didn't have a really good game blocking. I liked what I saw in the passing game outside of the one drop. So there's some opportunity there. I'm hoping that the blocking gets cleaned up, because we're going to need to have tight ends that can get to blocks and help us get to the second level of the defense on the edge there. So definitely going to need that going forward. But to Tally's point, Drone's back, coming back out there, ready to go, ready to sling it in the second half, and just Ollie Jennings looking like Ollie Jennings. I think that's really kind of the big thing there, is that we saw him get behind a defense, score a big touchdown. I really wish we could get him some more targets in that game. Anything under 5 just kind of doesn't make sense to me. So got to get him more involved in the game plan, especially down the field.
You know what else went well?
What's that?
Steven Gosnell.
Yeah.
Man, him coming off injury,
look great.
And the crazy thing is, I mean, I know y'all watch a lot of film, y'all watching on TV. He was open a lot more times than he got the ball too. Even on the play, and again, it would have been a long throw, and it would have been had to be a crazy throw, but he was by himself on the pass where we hit Benji for the long. Well, Kyron hit Benji for the long pass. If he would have looked across the field on that play, Steven was wide open on that, going back to his left. So he played a great game, man. Like, he's just tough. I don't know if he's fast. I don't know what it is about him, but he know how to get open. That's what I do know. So that was great to see. And like I said, him coming off that injury, man, he's worked hard to be back on that field.
He has that. Sheldon, anybody else that you felt like went well?
Well, the offense averaged over 7 yards per play, which is really, really good. I mean, I know as much as we criticize Bowen, statistically, they came out pretty well. I also think defensively, I thought Peebles was pretty solid. Mostly the interior defensive line, I thought played pretty well. I know Pry's scheme is all about gap responsibility, so you're not going to see the D linemen, be super aggressive as much as, some other schemes and just kind of hold up. But they did a pretty good job of, kind of holding the line. Again, it was just that kind of outside perimeter stuff and the back seven, if you will, that struggled more so. But I thought the D line played pretty well for the most part.
All righty. All right. So try to keep this to 1. Try to keep it to 1. Other than everything, Brian's chuckling right here. Other than everything, what's the one thing, Shelton Moss, you want to see us do better moving forward?
Good question. I don't know. Just I would say be responsible for your assignments, especially defensively, man. Know where you got to be on the field. Simple as that. Make the right reads, be in your gaps, play sound football.
There you go. All right. Tally.
Get to the quarterback. We got this line that we've talked about all off season. Get to the quarterback. What do we have? We had 2 sacks. I think we had 2.
Let me get it up here. I got it.
I think we had 2.
2. And 7 total tackles for loss.
No, man. You got to get more. We got to get to the quarterback more than that. We at least needed 4 in that game. I mean, because sometimes we was there and we let him out. Yep. And sometimes we was, losing containment. So we got to get to the quarterback, because we got the players on our – Andretti, I seen you post something earlier, man. You said we stink outside of wide receivers. That's a lie. I understand you're upset, but that's a lie. Like you said, no other players could play at any other school.
I'm going to pull it up here just so you can read it.
No, let's see what he said. He said, we stink outside of wide receiver. None of these players would hit the field at any other NCAA major program. and number 44. That's a lie. Peoples was one of the highest transfers that was out. Like, he had plenty of schools he could have went to. They had a bad game. You deserve to be mad.
He had a solid game. Not bad.
I'm saying
solid.
They had a bad game. Like, we had a bad game. So you deserve to be mad. We should have won. We thought we should have won. We didn't, but that's not the truth. Wide receivers, I mean, they're good, but you got some other players that can play other places as well. Coaches and players got to do a better job of winning. I ain't trying to talk you off a ledge. Keep going off. But there's another game. There's another game on Saturday. So let's see what happens Saturday.
Brian Siegler.
Let's not, especially as coordinators, be as rigid as we were for a full half with our schemes and our game plans, because I feel like that was the biggest problem in that game, is that we came in with a game plan, and I think we tried to hang on to it for probably about a series or two too long on both sides of the football. And all it would have taken was one more touchdown, one more stop on third down. There was opportunities out there. If you're a little bit quicker getting off that scheme, that game plan that you came in with, do things a little bit different, you probably don't put yourself in a situation where you got to come back and go into overtime against a Vanderbilt team. So be less rigid.
All right. Brian, before I give mine here, take a look at my message. Are you able to get that up in a few minutes here?
What's that?
Just check the message real quick.
Yeah.
Are you able to get that up? Because I'd like to bring that up.
Yeah. Go ahead and you keep talking. I'll get it up.
All right. For me, and I love what y'all say, assignments, everything y'all have said. To me, I think right now we also, and I'm going to piggyback off this, you've got to give a chance to somebody who might not be proven it in practice. Get them in the game, and if they can do it, then you don't have to ever worry about practice, because they're doing it where you actually need to do it. And sometimes that's a gamble, right? That's a huge gamble, because if somebody's not doing something in practice, like, man, he always screws this up, man, because if he fucks this up in a game and he gets Kyron's blindside hit, and I'm talking right tackle, and Kyron gets hurt, man, that fucking kills us. And I know Parker can stumble and bumble. Just give some of these other guys chances. Give some of those two deep guys chances, because I think in the long run it's going to pay off for confidence of this team. And my other one, and y'all got one, fucking play hard, play mean. Don't go in there. This means nothing. This means nothing. Across your chest means nothing. Go out there and make it mean something, because you did not do that Saturday until it was too late. All righty. So real quick, injury list, just so if everybody's wondering, Kyron was a full go-to-gate. By the way, shout out Colby on this. Colby from 247 threw these up. Kyron, full go-to-day. Tuna's out there getting work done. He's good to go. We do have 2 injuries. Tally, you were the first one that you threw this in a text and said Will Johnson's hurt, because you said you saw him get carted off on Saturday.
Yeah. Special teams play. Actually, that was the block in the back that was not flagged on the punt that set up the game time touchdown.
Right.
All right. So that stinks. And he was a core 4, as Coach said. So he's basically playing all the special teams in some way. So now that probably will give some young guy an opportunity to step up these upcoming weeks if he's out for a while. The second one, and I know, Shelton, I know you saw it. Tally Brian texted us like, we didn't see Stroman parts of the second half at all. It was announced Stroman is going to be out for a while. Coach said a few weeks. I don't know what a few means, because we heard a few weeks with Ollie Jennings last year and we never saw him again. So we don't know what it is, right? We don't know exactly what it is with him. Now, I will say this. I was glad to hear Shelton, Jalen Jones, good grades, because he's going to have to step into that position. And you saw, and it was on TV, Jalen made a couple plays coming downhill with some run plays. So hopefully it's clicked for him while Stroman's out. Okay, y'all, only an hour and 10 minutes. I thought it might be 90 minutes doing this.
Hey,
Look who's joined us, Mr. Drones.
There he is. What's up, Kevin?
Kevin, what's
Mr.
happening?
Drones
By the
in
way,
building.
Tally, Andretti just needed you to talk with him. This is
Hey,
Hokies
hey,
group
that's my guy,
therapy.
man.
Tell Kevin I'm sorry I splashed that G&T on his
Oh,
on
yeah.
his arm coming off the bar because I was carrying 4 drinks.
4 drinks, Brian. What's
4
wrong
drinks,
with you?
Brian. Damn, boy.
Yeah.
All right, and as before we turn over to Know the Enemy, some picks, some fun stuff. As much as Brian, go ahead and put it up there so we can kind of talk to it. As much as we love, as much as we vent, and everything, this is a game, and it's okay to vent. Like Tyler said, get it off your chest, have fun. But there is things going on that if y'all did not know about, Mike Villagrana's, who is, I don't know his exact title, chief of staff, something within a big operations guy that came with for our first year. His daughter, she's like 6 years old. And, for me, that I got a 7-year-old, not too much older than this little girl. She's been diagnosed with leukemia. So she is going to be going through an absolute fight. And they got the GoFundMe to definitely help Mike up. You can see everybody doing it. And it's and I wanted to do it because we vented, we said some dirty words, we said some bad things, we bust some guys. This is actual shit that really matters. Okay. That's a family. That's a little girl. Me, Brian, Sheldon, you're not there yet in life, but me, Brian, Tally, all have children. And a lot of y'all out there probably tonight, obviously, Chris, Kevin, y'all's boys are on the teams. Some of y'all out there, we know y'all have kids as well. This means a lot. If you can donate, if not, I understand if you can't, if money's tight, but at least share this post, get the word out there to help this family. And if y'all want to add anything, boys, go right ahead.
No, I'll just say that, this is something that, it's bigger than football. We get on here and we run our mouth a lot. And, I think we come at it from a perspective of we're going to tell the truth, but we're also, it's all love because we're all Hokies. We're here because we love the game. And I couldn't imagine being in a situation where, my child was in this place and having to fight this battle. So hope everybody out there can do what they can. And if you can't do anything right now, be sure to share it around. So appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Praying for that family because that's got to be hard. So definitely just praying for them, man. Keep them. I'm not trying to push anything on anybody, but hey, I believe in God. So I got to say I'm praying.
100%. Sheldon, anything you want to add, my friend?
No, just just keep supporting. I know Mike is really close with Coach Pride. They go back a few years, so they have a great relationship, and he's been super integral to everything that goes on in the program from what I hear. So obviously, great person, a big VT football guy. So anything we do support, help him out.
Yep. And again, like I said, y'all, if it's one of those things you can't throw the loot on there, share it. Get it out to your. We're in a society now where literally you can share something, and it can hit thousands upon tens of thousands of people. And it might be someone where maybe you can't stroke a few bucks to help it out, but it maybe your neighbor who sees this says, you know what, I can do this. I understand where it's coming from. So definitely a good cause. We'll definitely keep her in our thoughts and our prayers. And we have gotten to the middle. And again, we are brought to you by the Counts Family Pharmacy, your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, 301 South Main Street, Blacksburg, Virginia. Also, check Jeremy out at Blacksburg on the Rocks, his podcast. Brian joined him yesterday. I'm sure that was a fun time with Jeremy and Paul, Mr. Siegler.
Oh, yeah, that was a good time. That was a really good time. I'm getting the link in there, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll get the link into all the social medias for y'all. Andretti, good looking out, man. Good looking out for that. All right, so y'all, we gonna do a little speed version of this, but we got to get to know the enemy. We got to know Marshall. We got to make some picks. We got to talk about some lies we told last week. Well, I told the most. If you really gambling, follow Tally. But let's start with know the enemy. Brian, let's start offensive side of the ball. Seth Doji. What's he going to be bringing to us, and who are some of the players we need to be watching out for?
Hey, buddy, we got an air raid coming in. Are you ready?
Yeah. All right.
Let's fucking do it. This is not your typical air raid, though. They're going to run the ball a little bit more. It's a very run-heavy air raid. They're going to run with the running backs. You're going to see the quarterbacks get involved again. So expect another game where we've got to have some assignment football as far as the quarterback is concerned. And we might see about 3 quarterbacks rolled out there. So it's kind of a wild situation, man. So you got Braylon Braxton out there, Stone Earls. These guys are gonna they're gonna roll about 2 or 3 guys out there just like they did probably first week, and we're gonna have to contain them from a rushing standpoint and make sure that we can try to get some pressure on them, even though they're going to get the ball out of their hands pretty quick.
All right. Sheldon, I didn't know if you got a chance to – Shelton was diving into stuff. I didn't know if you got a chance. Did you dive anything into Marshall?
Not too much. I know they were ranked 84th in the latest SP Plus rankings, or 81st, I think, one of the two. So slightly better than Vanderbilt, not by much. Obviously, Tech has the home field advantage, so they'll give them a few points on the spread. I mean, I saw it was 20.5 last time I checked, which seems pretty crazy, but
Weird.
You never know.
Weird.
Yeah, and that went up because it was at like 15.5.
It started right just over 2 touchdowns, and it's crept up almost a full touchdown since then.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. They know some stuff we don't know.
Well, some came out today. I'm going to mention it in a few minutes. Brian, I did notice their 2 receivers pretty good.
Yeah. So you got kind of a mix and match there, right? So you got Christian Fitzpatrick. He's their matchup problem. He's their stick mover. He's their red zone threat. He's a guy that can really cause problems for different guys on the defense. And then the other guy, Elijah Metcalf, he's really the explosive guy. He's the big play guy. He's the guy that can take the short one deep. He can beat you deep. He can do a little bit of everything.
All righty. So obviously, again, y'all, this week was a lot of know ourselves. We needed to figure out what the hell was going on with us. So Brian did not get a chance to jump in the film room as much. It was more of watching what we were doing. I'll say this, running back wise, Ethan Payne is listed as their number 1 running back, but a guy by the name of A.J. Brandt broke an 80-yarder last week. So keep an eye on both those guys. Again, I think the thing is when we played Marshall last year, they were more established. They basically were bringing guys back, good rushers, a known quarterback. This year, it's a little bit of the unknown. That's why they played 3 quarterbacks the first week, including Cole Pennington, who's Chad Pennington's son, who might see the field on Saturday as well. So it will be interesting to see what they can do. They were playing Stony Brook. I am not sure how good Stony Brook was last year in FCS ball.
They're bad. They're bad.
Very, very bad. Yeah.
So even less to draw upon, other than they beat them by 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I mean a couple other guys to watch are going to be their tight ends. You got Cade Conley and Toby Payne. They're both kind of that hybrid joker type tight end, so they're going to get involved in the passing game as well. So they've got guys on offense that can make some plays. It's going to just be interesting to see how we match up. I definitely think they're going to sling the ball more than we saw against Vanderbilt. So that may play in our favor unless they're targeting Monsour Delane, in which case it may not.
Well, hey, listen, one terrible game in 24. The boy, the man should get a chance.
We'll give him some grace. We're going to give him some grace, but let's see.
All right. Flip on the defensive side of the ball. Jason Seymour's defensive coordinator, Brian. I'm not sure how much you saw what they ran. I want to focus on 2 of the edge players, Jabari Ishmael, and I want to focus on Mike Green. And y'all know why. Y'all clearly know why we're discussing this.
Oh, we know.
We know why.
Yeah.
But we've got to talk about them because likely we're going to see them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4-2-5 system, attacking system predicated on pressure and disruption. Not too dissimilar to what we saw this past week, and it is predicated on those big defensive ends that have been making some plays for them. I'd say defensive line just across the board is their best position group. Everywhere else is kind of, but defensive line, they are as close to a middling Power 5 team as you can get for a G5 team. I guess we'll say Power 4 now because the Pac-12 does not fucking exist anymore.
True.
So, yeah, when we look at Ishmael, I mean, he's kind of that balance of power and speed, kind of that big end look, but he is disruptive. But Mike Green is the guy that goes in there and just wrecks shop, man. He is quick. He is elusive. He's going to give Parker fits. So just look out for that, guys.
Not what I wanted to hear.
Man, you're gonna make Tally start drinking, and it's 10 o'clock now. Man.
And if any of, like I said, because we might chip a little bit on that side, that's probably what we're gonna need to do to be able to get the ball downfield a little bit. And I'm hoping that's what we do, because I think we still need to attack this team through the air. I think we can run the ball. I think we need to show a commitment to running the ball, especially with Tuden, just based on the way this team is made up. I think we can have some success in the running game, especially with Kyron mixed in there. But we need to make sure that we are taking the shots, but that we're calculated with how we take those shots.
All right. Anything Shelton, Tally, y'all read on this team defensively? Read nothing.
I just hope they don't know how to spin move. That's it.
You know what? I hate to tell you something, Tally.
Mike Green knows
Mike
how?
Green got a spin move in the bag.
Mike Green got a spin move. I already know he do. He already got 1.5 sacks for this year.
Hey, if he didn't have one, he got one now.
There you go. So, Tally, you've been researching. Look, Tally already know Mike Green's sack total. He got 1.5.
Man, you got to. I mean, when you rolling out the line, we rolling out. You at least got to know where to keep your eyes during the game. So, yeah, I mean, every game is going to be the same. It's more about us than it is them. I mean, some teams that we've seen is going to change. Every week is different, but we have to be the team that we're worried about every week. Like, if we go out and do the stuff that we're supposed to do, we got a good chance of winning most of the games, same as we did at the beginning of the season. Like, the season ain't over. Some people say, "Oh, I ain't gonna watch." Nobody cares. That's you. I'm gonna watch every week. I'm gonna be mad or happy, whatever it's gonna be every week. I'm gonna call Chris. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna call Dwight. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna put stuff in the group chat. Like, it's gonna be the same thing, man. What else do I got to do?
We got multiple group chat. We got the big pod. We got the coach. By the way, the one reason we looked a little bit more at linebackers is Coach Robbie sent us about, I believe it was probably a full page paper on some of the linebacker shit.
Yeah,
you got to read that. Tally, I was gonna say Tally has got his keys. You already just said it right there.
Oh yeah,
we have to go be the team we need to be. I love it. Shelton, what is your key this week?
I mean, kind of the same key responsibility, gap responsibility, making the right reads, being in the alleys, being aggressive, like all that stuff is like, I keep talking about the linebackers and safeties because, it keeps becoming a problem. So, obviously you're down Stroman, next man up, Jalen Jones, your time is up. Your time is coming, I should say. So hopefully we can step up and, see some improvement from game one. And I think we will.
Siegel.
You know what? I want to see a team that is not afraid to go out there and assert themselves against this opponent, because I feel like we were reacting a lot against Vanderbilt. We were reacting to what they were doing. We were reacting to how they were playing us, to what they were, which part of the field they were attacking. There was too much reaction and not enough dictating the terms and the flow of the game. I want to see us come out there, start to finish, dictate the terms of the game to this Marshall team. I don't care if they score a few touchdowns or hit a couple big plays on it. I want to see us consistently look like we have an identity on both sides of the ball.
All righty. My turn. This is what I want to see, and it's a little bit, I guess you can say both sides of the ball. Don't go in with a one mindset of what you need to start doing at the beginning of a game. Don't do that. Like, we have to throw horizontally. We have to open it up this way. No. Leave the playbooks open, because I hate to, and I like being able to say this, because I feel like we are a team that we don't have to say we need to do horizontal and inside zone to open everything else up. No, we don't. They want to load the box, throw it downfield. They want to play coverage, hit the zone, hit the gaps. Defensively, same way. as much as we can shit on our linebackers, we do have some athletic guys who can keep up with guys as long as they, like Sheldon said, they keep their responsibility and know where they're going. Don't be afraid to just open it up and say, listen, I ain't putting you in a box. We're going to call it as they come to us. So similar to what you're saying, Brian, be assertive. But mine's coming from the playbook side. So tallied somebody for it. I did rip one about 6 minutes ago. I don't know if that was in the time frame. No, that was only a minute ago. No, about 6 minutes ago, I took care of one. Brian, you need to look at the chat for tomorrow night real quick, just so you know what's coming as we make our Hokie predictions for this week. And Tally, you're going to lead us off, big guy. What are we going to be doing for the Hokies? What you got?
Oh, my God. I got to start.
Yep.
You got to. If you don't want, I'll start. You me start?
I'm saying Hokies win. Come back. We're going to be at home. Hokies with a dub.
All right. He ain't giving a score prediction. He's just claiming a victory.
No, I can't. I don't think it's gonna be 20 points like they're saying, but maybe a couple of touchdowns. But I'll say a Hokie dub. I'll say that.
Brian or Sheldon, excuse me.
I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Hokies by 3 tutties.
All right. He's
Hey.
saying cover.
Hey.
I think they're gonna come out really ticked off and motivated from last week. They're gonna be hungry.
All right. Brian.
Not quite out there like Sheldon, but a little more confident than Tally. I think we're gonna it's gonna be a solid 15-17 point win. Nothing to write home about, but you feel a little bit better about it after what we saw last week. All we need to do is build some confidence and keep it moving. We got to remember, probably the only thing that we lost out on from a big picture standpoint in Vanderbilt is the chances of us getting an at-large bid in the ACC or in the 12-team playoff is gone. Everything else is still in play because conference titles matter now.
Conference titles matter.
So go
we
the
don't know
fuck
how
out
good
there and
Vanderbilt's
take care of
gonna be.
business, and let's go ahead and take care of Marshall first. Go 1-0. I know the joke was made, Marshall 1-0, and everybody was like, yeah, but you're actually 0-1. Like, all right, get it. We're going on 1-0 this week. So
Everybody want to complain about everything right now.
so give me 35-20.
All right.
Yeah.
I do think the Hokies win. I don't think they quite cover. I think it's going to be like 42-24. I think they're just under covering because I think it's what Shelton, what you said. I think they're going to come out and play a little angry. I think they're going to be hitting people. I think they're going to take more risks early. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's 4:30, so it is a later afternoon game where we're going to get to enjoy some of the early games. And this week, let's get to big screeners. Brian, guess what? You get to lead the way, man. What's your game?
I'm going with Arkansas at Okie State, baby.
Old SWAC matchup.
Yes, sir.
Old SWAC.
Yes, sir.
Who you got?
All right, so that line there is 7.5 for Okie State. I'm taking Arkansas. I think this is going to be a fucking grudge match. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think that it's going to be about a touchdown victory, but having that hook was just a little too much for me.
The hook was a little bit too much for you. All right. I'm on Oklahoma State here at T. Boone Pickens Stadium. They're getting home field advantage. They are the better team. They've got the better players. Yes, I know Arkansas. Jason was very upset last week because you know why? He almost took the 49.5 or 56 at Arkansas versus Arkansas Flying Bluff. That was almost his game of the week. And they won by like 63. But I think you're going to see it. They're going to be out-talented this week. Okie State by about 10.
Sheldon, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Okie State mostly on a hunch. I like the way that they took care of business against the 2-time reigning FCS champions, South Dakota State, last week. So I think it could be a good year for the folks.
Taliban.
I gotta say Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to actually win this game outright. So if I was betting, I would put Arkansas money line on this one.
All right, I'm going to stop right here just so everybody knows where we stand as of last week. Brian is at 33%. He got 2 games right. Shelton and Miranda also at 33%. 2 games right. Tally, 67%. Tally got 4 of the 6 games right. Yeah.
It is no longer Fade Tally.
It's no longer,
No
it's
longer,
Fade.
baby.
It's Fade
Curtis.
Curtis. Curtis got 1 game right. I'm sitting at 16% winning percentage. And we're keeping up with it this week. We have created something. Someone's keeping up. Hey, I got the A&M Notre Dame game right at least. So there
we're gonna give a shout out here to the guy that's it's Hokie Uni Edits. Hokie Jersey Edits is the name on Twitter, at Hokie Uni Edits on X, on Twitter. Go give that person a follow. But they set us up with some tracking stuff. They're gonna keep it up for us. So I want to give them a shout out and let them know we appreciate it. Go give them a follow.
Nice. All right. Who's Miranda got?
Miranda has Okie State
and our guitar slinger, Arkansas. We a split family here, man. It's gonna be interesting to watch it.
3-3, baby.
All righty. I am next. All right. This is my game of the week. I don't know how it got to me. I think everybody else just didn't want to choose it. It's the big one of the week. It's Michigan, Texas. It's in the big house. Texas, a 7.5-point road favorite. Big road favorite. I think that might be fine, because if y'all looked how Michigan, it was a struggle bus for them with as much talent as they have to close the game out last week. Brian, who you got?
Texas, baby. Hook 'em. It's going to be – I think this could be 10, and I take it. So.
Woo, really? 10?
Yeah.
10 and you take it. I wouldn't say 10. I think you're close, but I think Texas wins this too. I think Texas just too much firepower overall. Although the only thing that worries me is that inside Texas, old Hokie commit Alex Orji, if they slow the game down, that could be what keeps effectively Michigan maybe for covering this. Sheldon, what you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Texas. I think I didn't like how Michigan looked last week. They needed a pick six, and even then they couldn't cover against Fresno. So Texas destroyed Colorado State last week. I really like Sark. I think he's going to keep the ball rolling. So give me Texas.
Callie?
Give me Texas. You see what color they is. They got to win
it. All right. Miranda's got taking the home dog at Michigan, and Jason's. All the boys are on board.
Texas except
everybody's on board. Everybody, all the boys are on board with Texas laying the points on the road. Tally, where are you going for your game this week?
Actually, we got Sheldon up next.
Oh, Sheldon, my bad.
You're
Sheldon,
good.
where are you going for your game this week?
Yes, so I took a little bit of a local one, UVA Wake Forest. I think this could be a big game for UVA. If they win, they're starting 2-0. You feel like they would have momentum for the first time in the Tony Elliott era. So with that said, I am going to take the Wahoos, regrettably, but I do think they're going to win this game, and it could be a little bit of a boost for that program that's kind of seen some hard times lately.
About you, Ron?
I'm riding with Wake, man. I'm not sold on UVA taking the next step. I think Wake has just enough with that home field advantage to be able to slow that game down a little bit and take some of the air out of that UVA passing attack.
All right. I'm with you, Brian. UVA did have a little bit of a struggle versus Richmond. UVA is the type of team Dave Clawson beats all the time. He'll occasionally snag one from the big boy. He's always going to beat the UVA types. Lay the 2 points. Wake wins by 14.
Damn, 14. Okay.
14.
It's big.
Tally, what you got?
I'm taking UVA, man. I think UVA kind of same sentiments that Sheldon said. You know, I think that they just want it, man. I think they want it this year. And I ain't saying they're going to win a lot of games, but I think they have a little bit of momentum going on. So I think they'll carry it into this game, and I'm just not sold on Wake.
All righty. Miranda Wake, Jason
Wake as well.
All righty. We got the middle two there. with UVA. Interesting. What time is that game Saturday?
Let me check.
Just wondering. Sorry to slow everybody down here.
Show me the time.
All right.
7
Well,
p.m.
Brian's 7 p.m. All right. Interesting. All right, Tally. This is yours, right?
Yeah, man. I got Cal versus Auburn. I think that Auburn is going. I mean, this is interesting to me just because Cal is new to the ACC. Apparently, they have the best running back in the ACC, is what a lot of people have said, or one of the best running backs in the ACC. So I'm interested to see how they do against the SEC. I would love to see Cal go in and take this game, but I'm saying Auburn.
I've got Cal in this one. I think it's that 13. It's just a little too rich for me. I think with that rushing attack, much like the Wake situation, they're going to slow the game down a little bit against Auburn. I think that's going to allow them to kind of keep it close. If this had been, 10, 11, somewhere in that range, I might would have said Auburn, but I think Auburn ends up winning the game, but Cal keeps it close enough.
Yeah, first of all, got to shout out this guy right here, our good buddy LeVar, always checking in with us. Good to hear from you tonight, LeVar. Usually jump on early. I'm kind of with Brian on this. I think 13 is just way too much to lay, especially this early in the season, not knowing the teams well enough. Maybe completely wrong, but 13 is just too rich.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm taking Cal. I think this is a game where Auburn maybe doesn't take their opponent as seriously as they should. They come out a little bit sluggish, but they're still going to win, but not cover.
We know Tally says Auburn. Miranda's on Cal. The guitar slinger and the Alabama ringer, Jonathan Tally, are both on Auburn. Later points. They see him blowout coming. Okay, let's move to the next one here. And this is our contributing writer, Miranda's game of the week. And if y'all have not checked out her piece from the Vandy game, appropriately titled, Brian, what was the title again? I'm forgetting all sorts of shit tonight.
You're forgetting everything, right?
Thank Jesus.
Hey, we got Vandy drops anchor on Hokies in overtime.
Yeah, I seen that.
Vandy drops anchor. Check her piece out, just some of her takes from watching the game. The one thing she did mention, but she messaged us, she almost got kicked out of her parents' house while watching the game. I got a feeling a lot of screaming was going on. Yeah. So, but check that out on the website, boundarycornervt.com. For Iowa State, Iowa, first of all, I ain't even going to say anything. Whatever the under is, take it. they ain't getting to whatever the over is. But, Brian, who you got?
I'm riding with the Cyclones. Like usual, I don't think you can trust Iowa's offense. I think Iowa State's going to have just enough on that side of the ball. I think they pull off a very, very tight upset in this one. I think it could come down to a final drive, a field goal to take a win there.
All righty. I'm exact opposite of you with this, even with 3.5 and even the way Iowa plays. Saw a little bit of a spark from the Iowa offense in the second half of their game last week. The defense, is going to be good. The special team, is going to be good with Kirk Ferentz. And just, again, Iowa State's in that weird spot with Matt Campbell where it's like they have some really, really good years, obviously, because they had a great quarterback in Brock Purdy. And then they come down. I feel like this is one of those down years where they're going to try to scramble to get in. And I think playing this game, which is at Iowa, it's at Kinnick. It is a 3:30 kick. They're going to wave to the kids at the hospital. Always something cool to see. It's going to start getting dark. Iowa wins this game by a touchdown. Take the under. It's 35.5. 20-13 is the final.
For those of you who are not soccer fans, the match between Real Madrid and Barcelona is referred to as El Clásico. This game in internet culture is often referred to as El Asico because it is ass football. That's what this game is. The over will not hit, and I will take Iowa State to cover. Give me Okay.
And by the way, I wasn't bullshitting. The over-under is 35.5. I'm not. Me and Sheldon are not kidding about this.
And the under will hit. The under will hit so fucking hard.
Tally, who you got for the Assico?
I got to go Iowa State.
Iowa State. Oh, give him some points.
Hey, Miranda's riding with that too. Jason joined you though. Jason joined you in Iowa land.
Yeah. He liked Kirk Ferentz. All right. What we got? All righty. Hey, we've gotten to music time, everybody. So Jason this week has selected the Tennessee NC State game. And here's a little bit of his guitar licks and gambling picks.
Tennessee whiskey, and you're as sweet as strawberry wine. Your hat's warm as a glass of brandy. I stay strong on your love, yeah, all the time. Welcome back to Guitar Licks and Gambling Picks. I'm Jason Long. Now, speaking of being stoned, last week I was feeling Rocky Mountain High, and while Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter clearly understood the assignment, Colorado's defense did not, and they gave up that old dreaded backdoor cover right at the end. So we're looking to right the ship this week when Tennessee travels to Raleigh to take on NC State. The Vols started out as 4.5 point favorites. I grabbed them at 6.5. Last I looked, they're already up to 7.5. Honestly, I'd be willing to go much, much higher because I think Tennessee is going to flat out roll over the Wolfpack this week. And you're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I say stone on your love, yeah, all the time. See you next week for another edition of Guitar Licks and Gambling Picks. I'm Jason Long. Go Volunteers, go Titans, go Hokies.
All righty. So we got Tennessee, NC State. We did catch this at 6.5. It's up to 8 now, by the way. It's up to 8. I think it's going to get to 9 before Saturday to kick off. Jason's obviously taking Tennessee laying the points. Brian, who you rolling with?
Vols, baby. Vols, baby. I did not like what I saw from NC State on offense. I think it's going to be all Vols. All
righty. And I am right there with you. I do think Tennessee is going to roll. I think this has the potential to be like a fun, entertaining game because Tennessee still has not shown a lot on defense over the last few years. So give me Tennessee. Shelton?
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee too. I didn't like the way NC State played last week against Western. I think they're due for a big stinker, and I love Josh Heupel. I think he's going to run roughshod over that defense. So taking the Vols.
You get Tyler.
Yeah, shout out to Jason for the Titans bandana. So go Titans, tighten up. I'm taking Tennessee as well.
All righty. Miranda
switched it up. NC State.
Fade. She says fade to Vols, and obviously Jason is there with that. So let Brian pick up the big board here and see where all of our picks roll. So as you can see, man, a couple of us are almost exactly alike. So there's our big screens. A lot of other good games this week too, y'all. Interested to see Colorado, Nebraska on Saturday night. Boise, Oregon late, especially the way Boise played last weekend. Anything else caught y'all's eye other than our game? Y'all gonna probably try to sit down, drink a cold beverage with.
I'm just glad football's back. Started to get in the fall weather. You know, wake up in the morning, you got that little bit of crispness in the air. And you know, about lunchtime, you need all the air and fan and all of that on. But just glad football's back, man. I'm gonna enjoy it. I ain't gonna let y'all steal my joy.
I don't know.
I think that's the big thing. Like, as much as Nashville was a great time, I did not get a chance to watch a ton of college football last week outside of the 3.5 hour stomach ache that was Virginia Tech Vanderbilt. So I'm excited just to have that normal routine of being in there, watching games. I've got TV here, TV here, TV here. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Sheldon?
I'm interested to see Georgia Tech Syracuse. I'm kind of buying I'm buying the Jackets so far. I mean, they're ranked in the AP poll top 25 for the first time in quite a while. I don't know the last time it's been some time, but if they can win that one, starting 3-0, I mean, it's a pretty good start. You might have to watch out for the Jackets this year.
All righty. Yep. 100%. I mentioned that one. Also, me and Brian tomorrow night, NFL kickoff over here at the house. It looks like we're going to have about 14 pounds of meat between brisket, barbecue, wings, venison barbecue. Shout out Ravi. Shout out Mason, a couple of guys that hang with us here. We're going – the honest truth is, one of our buddies, Eamon, said we all might just pass out in the basement after drinking, watching football, and eating all that food tomorrow night.
You still got the mattress down there?
Huh?
You still got the mattress?
No, the mattress isn't down there anymore. But it is a comfy couch now to sleep on. Shelton, hit us up if you want to come by and eat some food and watch some football tomorrow night. I don't have any issues. Boys, anything else breaking the last few minutes here?
I don't know. I think we broke some hearts out there in the listing world the last 2 hours talking about that game. But I think other than that, I think we're good.
Well, you got to unload it. Let it out there.
You got
But like Tally says, if you want to talk shit, you can put Billy Bob 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your face on it.
Put your face on that, man.
Yep. Put your face on it.
Stand on it. Stand on business.
Hey, go look at all 4 of our accounts. You see our faces. You know who we are. If you walk to us at a Virginia Tech game, Nashville, down the street, y'all know who we are. And that does wrap up this episode of the Boundary Corner podcast, brought to you by Counts Family Pharmacy in Blacksburg. I'm Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Siegler.
Jonathan Talley.
And I'm Shelton Moss.
Visit our Boundary Corner website. Visit our website, boundarycornervt.com, to listen to all of our episodes. Check out Miranda's article. Real sweet little article there. Always follow us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the podcast sources that you can think of. You go there, subscribe, give us a review. As always, check Jason out on jasonlawmusic.com to check all of his live events. Also, check him out on his Apple, Spotify, and his YouTube and Facebook pages. We thank you all for listening and watching tonight. And as always, let's go.
Hokies.
Hokies.
Each day I wonder all across a lonely ground.